So as well as doing, kind of all those specific things, so doing my storytelling and my improv, and my music, and my advocacy, there's often projects that run across all of those things, or one or two of them. So one of the projects that I love doing, I've been doing these make your own show projects for, it must be about 25 years now, and it's going into a community and finding out kind of what brings them joy, and over a process of, it's normally about a 12-week project, really kind of drawing out those things that kind of bring them joy, drawing out the stories that they love, and then working out how to combine them into a show. And I've done that with communities of learning disabled adults. I've done that with refugee communities. And it's kind of something that you could do with any community. It's about kind of coming together and celebrating who you are. The most recent one was it was this kind of Romeo and Juliet story that involved Jaffa cakes and coffee. It was the best thing. They often, because you're combining lots of things, they have this kind of strange sort of outcomes, but are really joyous, and are really there to support whoever is involved in them. So those projects, I've done many, and I hope to do many more, because it's that opportunity to work with people over a longer period of time, in schools, or where there are communities that are kind of together over a longer period of time. They get that opportunity to really find their joy and really celebrate it. And they always end in a show that's a public performance, so it's actually people who these people care about coming to see it. One of my favourite outcomes, I was working with a group of teenagers in London, and they were excluded, and the girl's dad came to see it, and he said, "This is great, because I know she was actually turning up every time because she was involved in the show." And sometimes it can be as simple as that. It creates a bond between the people who create it and their community. So those are ones that I love, and I'm doing those reasonably regularly, so that's great. But would always love to do more. And then I still do kind of jobbing acting work as well. So I've done some stuff with Black and White Productions, which has been great. So that's kind of always a possibility, and theatre is kind of like that first love. So that's always really fun to go back to. It tends often to be more like storytelling and improvised work, because I struggle with scripts. But that's my neurodivergent brain. I feel like I could learn one if I wanted to. But that's really, again, that's kind of the act of a higher thing. And then there's sort of various advocacy projects, that are kind of the sort of catch-all things. I'm very passionate about East Anglia and East Anglian culture, and creating events that really celebrate that. I think often there's an idea that if you're sort of in the regions, then it's good to have big people from elsewhere come to your region. And I'm very passionate about saying, actually, the work that we create here in this environment is incredible. And actually those people that are working on the ground and with communities have these huge talents that really should be celebrated and valued a lot more. So a lot of my projects are often around celebrating that. And around facilitating kind of discussions around sort of the disabled community, particularly interested in the non-speaking community, which is always a strange thing, because if you don't know that exists, there's an incredible community of non-speaking artists who make poetry and make work using different forms of non-verbal communication, so often iPads or letterboards. So really interested in facilitating things that allow people to be kind of really inclusively involved on the same level. Someone was telling me the other day about an improviser who used a talk pad. I was like, I've never wanted to improvise with someone more than spells things out. So that idea of kind of inclusiveness sort of runs through all my work, and a lot of my projects are around celebrating the things that often don't get celebrated and valuing the things that are sometimes undervalued. So if there are projects around that where I can use my skills, that's kind of where my passion is.
Wonderful. That's great. I think that's it.
Yay!
Yeah, and I mean, seriously,